just start over, or?
Yes. Welcome to the Lovac Podcast, everybody. It's been like a year.
Welcome to the Lovac Podcast.
Has it been like more than a year?
It's been a while.
I feel like it's been a bit more than a year.
I feel like you may be wrong, but let's find out.
Well, yeah, let's find the fuck out while I do introductions. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Lovac Podcast after however long. I am the Blood Mistress Jenna. You can call me that or whatever the fuck. I don't care. We have the guy with the Pichu aesthetic over there. We have Allison, whatever her new name is.
Ghost
Ow,
Toast.
I hit my knee.
Toast to toast.
I don't know if she still goes by the Ghost Toast or what.
No.
No, I said Bill.
Oh,
like,
Bill? Okay, yeah. We have Bill.
Bill the Ghost
We
Toast.
have Justin, who has still not had a double quarter pounder with cheese in like a year. And we have Martin.
Oh,
Justin just hasn't eaten anything in over a year.
I just don't eat anymore as I finish a burger.
Well, Allie, you better be putting that rice cooker to good use.
Yeah, didn't you hear earlier? She ate rice
she ate
that was like 12
day
hours
old rice. Not good.
Of course I'm putting it to good use.
I'm gonna eat more of the day-old rice.
So hello everybody.
Martin was my father's name. You guys can call me Dom Daddy 76.
Yeah, Connor, throw up a picture of Martin's dad cosplay.
I despise you right now.
Yeah,
But
Martin
okay.
is a Soldier 76, and it's great. We're gonna cosplay together one day and be stupid.
Looks like you need kids some vitamin D.
No.
Daddy. Now that sense of inappropriateness is out of the way.
Dad.
So
I'm not your father.
we decided to do a podcast because it's been like a year since we had the last one.
And we're gonna play Overwatch after we do the podcast.
Yes, we are, but we tend to not reveal what we're gonna do after the podcast. This is a podcast. Point is, we've had like live streams and shit like that to kind of take the place of the podcast. And I felt like it was about time that we just went back to the podcast.
Is that it? Is that the only reason we're doing a podcast today? Nothing special?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't been coming out with a lot of content, and
I'm just picturing like Jenna just like saying like, "There's obviously something here," and like just kind of like trying to get you to say it.
Going through the file, like, what is it?
What's the secret
I know.
thing?
A year ago today, Connor cut his hand, and that symbolizes the Illuminati.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm here. That's the other special occasion.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Martin's here. We have to do a podcast.
Illuminati.
No bounds.
So, in the show Gravity Falls,
Gravity
Falls is said 88 times. If you do that, and if you add 8 and 8 together, you get 16. And if you divide 16 by 4, you get some.
Oh my god. Shut up with your Gravity Falls bullshit. It's confusing.
I used to actually have a really bullshit Gravity Falls Illuminati theory about however many times it was said. I fucking wish I could remember it.
I was
wait. Is that the show with that triangle from Minority?
You mean Bill Cipher?
Maybe. It's Bill Shipper.
You mean the Ghost Toast?
I mean that character that I really wanted to voice for, but like we just kind of stopped doing Gravity Falls stuff. So
if you can find me Gravity Falls comics, we can do Gravity Falls comics.
The show's over. Nobody's making anything anymore.
Shit.
Man, you can find all sorts of gross incest comics online.
I don't want to do that.
Listen,
guys, we could just just do a reading of the Taco Bell story. I don't know.
No, we're not doing that. We are gonna, though, for the fans, we are gonna do another dramatic reading one day. We just need to figure out what fucking fanfic.
Yeah. So also confirm. So our last podcast was technically the holiday cast. So it's been a little less than a year, but still.
But not much.
And then to give like actual explanation as to why we're doing this, the reason we stopped doing podcasts was because I learned that doing live streams was way the fuck easier.
And a lot more
fun.
fun.
So we just did a lot more live streams and decided to say fuck it to the podcast. But I don't know. I like the thing I like about podcasts is they are very, well set up and executed and shit like that. Unlike this podcast where we're just kind of throwing shit at the wall because we haven't come out with anything for the past few months. But...
Where Mart and I were talking for 20 minutes about fighting game mechanics.
So Connor, yes. Yeah, they wouldn't fucking shut up. It was great. Anyway, Connor, is anything coming out this week?
No.
Good shit.
So. Yeah, I'm mainly talking about this month we're not going to have much. However, for August, I plan on us having the perfect month, trademark pending. Point
is it anything like the perfect cast?
Yes, it is exactly like the perfect cast, actually, where we will get billions of views because we get every video out correctly and in the right order and with no delays and blah, 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 yada, yada. Point is...
Good shit.
Yeah.
Connor puts up the highlight reel for the Lovac meetup on the first day.
Oh my god!
Somehow it's unfinished.
The perfect month.
Do we have a preview of not like throw up the footage, man? But do we have a little thing to tell people of what's to come?
I'm sorry. What for? What?
What's coming up, Connor?
Oh,
in the future, nearby.
Well, let me tell you that. Throughout this month, we're going to be actually doing a couple more game nights just to end out the month. However, they're two insanely big game nights because we have Splat Night, and that's going to be the final recorded Splat Night for the first Splatoon that we have. So
hey, I was there.
Yeah, it's going to be fun and great. And a little sappy, but that's whatever. And then we're gonna
have footage from the meetup. Yeah.
And then
no, we're not.
And then we're gonna have the Night and Day Showcase, and it is the last showcase in the big countdown for those of you who have been watching the Night and Day Showcase for the past few months. There's been like a countdown at
100
the end,
of you.
And people are like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, I'll show you what the fuck it is once the countdown ends! But
wait, what?
Our videos have had a countdown at the end of them. It's don't worry about it. And so this is going to be the Night and Day Showcase. That will be the final countdown. And we will reveal what the fuck we're leading up to with that video. In the meantime... what has come out this month, I guess I may as well talk about the shit that we have done since we haven't had a podcast in 50 fucking years. Make sure you check out the previous Splat Nights, obviously. Like, we've had a whole bunch of them leading up to this, the previous Night and Day Showcases. Brought those up, whatever. We've also had all 3 parts of Mario Party 6, which was a hell of a time. And
finally, my story can be told.
Yeah, it's got Martin and Justin in it, and along with Stu, but Stu's not here right now, so fucking whatever to that guy.
Fuck him.
And then, aside from those, we also had an update video talk about the Q&A that we're going to be having soon. We're going to start recording for that soon, and then after that it shouldn't be too long to process, and blah, 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 yada, yada, bullshit, stupid editing shit. And then we have the Lovac Road Trip.
They don't care about editing, get on with the fun stuff.
Yeah, Lovac Road Trip. It was the Lovac meetup of 2016 where Allie and I drove halfway across the country and we saw Jenna, and it was great. And
yeah. And we went to a Panic at the Disco concert.
Yeah.
And I couldn't go because I was poor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At work.
Yeah, commoner.
Allie Pop Sands was great.
I see how it is, Jenna. I see how you view me.
The ninth circle.
So, and to finish it all off, I wanted to talk about, we've got a shitload of comic dubs lined up, and that's
what about what's happening in August?
I'm getting to it! And then, because fucking comic dubs, man, that's our bread and butter. People are curious when the fuck that's coming out, and I've already made them wait long enough, if they're even listening to this.
Probably not!
But, yeah, we've got comic dubs lined up, and I think they're like, we have enough comic dubs to essentially end out the year, so it's very exciting. I've been on an editing power spree, so those have been getting done, and I've been knocking them out of the park. It's been great. And now, let's talk about what we're all doing in August. What are we all doing in August?
We're gonna fuck!
Yeah.
That's news to me.
So official Lovac meetup of 2017 is the Lovac orgy. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great.
You can check it out.
Do I bring Mr. Twisty or the Triceratops?
Oh, the Triceratops.
I don't know, but I get to pull.
Go ahead and bring the soldier mask too.
You can find it on our Pornhub account, Lovac After Hours. It's gonna be great.
No. Don't actually for the younger viewers. Don't actually go there. We don't have a Pornhub account.
We don't have a Pornhub. Please don't go.
I mean, might have the same name.
I will say this: if you were ever going to go to a porn site, Pornhub is probably your best choice because they actually give a shit about people. But
they plant trees for charity.
They plant trees. They have scholarships. They bought a guy a new laptop because somebody broke his.
What the fuck?
I still remember that fucking post about our school societies aren't teaching good sex education. We'll fix that, says Pornhub, and everybody reacts very positively. And then Pornhub also says, I don't think our government's doing a very good job of plowing the roads. We should probably do something about that.
And there's that
Pornhub brand snow plowers.
With a fucking Pornhub sticker on it.
Yeah. That's basically what they did for that one guy. He's he had a laptop and I think he was on their website or said he was on their website or something like that and was about to basically get caught. And it froze, so he took his laptop and snapped it in half.
What the hell?
And then proceeded to tweet with a picture of it and tagged them in it. And so they were like, "Don't worry, man, we got you, bro." And so they sent him a brand freaking new laptop covered in their logo, just everywhere. On the back of it, on the inside of it, the wallpaper was their logo. They decked this thing out in there and sent it to him free of charge. And they're like, "Here you go, bro. This is for being such a dedicated member of our user base."
Well, I'll probably say this. It's probably better than being covered in something else. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while we were trailing off with Pornhub and all this such, the meetup, the orgy. So what kind of cameras?
Not actually. Disclaimer: not actually anything of the sort.
As far as they know.
I mean, we are meeting up, but we're not gonna fuck.
No.
I mean,
we didn't ruin the illusion. So. God.
Who knows?
My immersion is gone now.
God, now fucking Polyvac can never fucking exist.
Well, I mean, I'm up for it if Allie is.
What?
That was a very innocent what?
I'm just
the power of a 4-letter word.
in the terminal right now, my computer, doing coding shit, and then all of a sudden I hear, "Well, I'm up for it if Allie's up for it," and I'm like, "What are we doing? Getting pizza or some shit?"
Yes, we're gonna go eat out.
It's the equivalent. It's being the equivalent of being tagged in a Facebook post that has absolutely nothing to do with you. People have already been talking, and then somebody tags you in a comment, and you're like, "Why are you bringing me into this?"
Yeah.
The meetup
comparison. Oh jeez.
But yeah, so we're all gonna meet up. We're gonna play video games. We're gonna do a lot of bullshit.
I'm gonna see if I can get my driver's license by then, so I can drive people around.
Yeah.
Gonna also need to have a car for that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll use one of your cars. Jeez.
Joke's on you. I don't have a car.
Joke's on you. Allie does.
Don't fucking use my car.
Allie's the only one with a car here. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I've got a couple of plans.
Sultry noises.
Shane, but with pants.
Yeah. I got a couple of plans for
broken set of cabinets.
The next meetup, but yeah, like I don't plan on unveiling them because a lot of them are like ideas for videos and shit like that. So I don't want to be like, oh, this is
I
what we're
hope he
gonna do with your
unveils us
video.
to them one day. To
Yeah,
us,
well,
I mean.
Duh.
Unveils them to us. There we go.
Yes, there you go.
Did I say unveils us to them?
Yes,
I'm pretty sure that's what the orgy is supposed to be about, but fine, like, whatever. But that's essentially... I don't fucking know.
So that's what's going on in the future.
Yeah, in August, we're going to have a meetup. It's going to be a week long. It's going to be fucking great. And it's going to involve all of us. So,
and a few people who aren't here.
Everybody who's here.
Oh yeah, should we say who all's going? Or going to be in attendance?
Fuck it, yeah.
Hell no.
It's gonna be us. It's gonna be Doodled, and Stu's already here, so he's not gonna have a choice.
It's gonna be Martin. It's gonna be me. It's gonna be everyone who lives over in Missouri like a nerd. It's not gonna be Kevin, and it's not gonna be Nate.
Fuck yeah.
You sound like they're dead.
Well, I mean, Nate's alive.
Kevin. Well, we don't know Kevin. We haven't heard from him.
Kevin, for all we know, could be like have been replaced by like a very complex computer AI at this point.
Well, I mean, would it even have to be a complex computer AI? Let's be real here.
So a synth?
Yes.
Okay, I'm like...
I can't believe Nate's a synth.
Only a synth would say something like that.
Shit.
It's my favorite fucking joke. It's just say something completely regular. Only a synth would say something like that.
Man, I'm sure in the mood for pizza.
I gotta go to the restroom. Only a synth would say something like that.
I'm not a fucking synth. You know what? Only a synth would say something like that.
That's exactly what a synth would say.
But, yeah, I'm super excited to go. I've honestly never been to one of these meetups, but I have been down to Missouri, I believe, last year? Or 2 years ago?
And you're there
2
right
years
now.
ago. It's when we recorded the Mario Party shit.
Yeah, it was. And I still remember we went out to, like, you know, that restaurant place, and I remember I was being asked about me being Canadian by...
And I'm gonna bring good pants so that we can go onto that abandoned ship this time.
Oh yeah, shit.
We're gonna do it.
We still play
like
Pokemon
bring
Go.
flashlights and swords, and we're gonna go onto that rusty old ship.
Wait, we're bringing swords?
Oh, you mean the barge?
Yeah.
In Old St. Charles?
I'll bring a fucking lightsaber.
The barge in Old St. Charles. We're gonna go there.
I thought you were talking. I thought you were talking about another there was like there. Okay, so, there was like a showboat. There was like an old abandoned showboat in the local area that like was up for tours for up until very recently because with all the rainfall that happened like in the early spring and whatnot, like it rose the river level up way too high and it's like it couldn't take it, and so like they basically had to abandon it. So I thought you were talking about that, and maybe you'd overheard it heard about it like the last time that you were here, but. So I was a little confused there for a second. I'm like, we can't go on that boat. It's like kind of like not safe.
I mean, I doubt the barge is safe, but that's not going to stop me.
Well, no, the barge is. I mean, it's safe.
Yeah,
it's structurally stable. You're not going to like fall through the damn floor or anything like that.
But I feel like every time we go there, something creepy happens.
Well, I mean, that makes me want to go even more.
Yeah.
It's an old rickety ship.
Love ships.
Last time I caught a ghastly there, like, fucking ghosts are real, man.
Ghosts are real. Ghosts are real and they sucked my dick.
Was it behind a 7-Eleven?
No, it was behind a Rite Aid.
Okay, guys, for all we know, we could be sucking ghost dicks right now. They could just be thrusting
Yeah, they could just be putting their fat slongs in our mouth while we're talking.
Oh my god.
Everyone, fight down.
Everyone, just close your mouths. Resist.
What is closing your mouth going to do to a ghost?
Shit, my asshole's undefended too. I gotta pucker that shit up with a little bit of like, you know, chapstick or something.
I don't think that'll like make it pucker. I think that'll just make it more supple.
That's not an image I need in my brain. I need the... I don't remember what the flashy thingy from Men in Black. I know that's what Will Smith calls it.
I know what you're talking about.
The neuralizer. That's what
that shit.
Yeah. That.
I need one of those now.
No, what you need is Michael Jackson as one of the agents.
No,
there.
stop!
Let's not make too many Michael Jackson jokes, though.
Rip.
He's dead. Let it die.
He's been dead for like 10 years. It's not too soon.
Wait, has it been 10 years?
Yeah, it's been a while now.
Yeah.
It's been like fucking 10 years. I think we're good.
I think it's been like 8.
But it's been a while.
I was a freshman in high school when it happened, I think.
Holy shit.
Let me see.
Like, it's been a while, dude. I think we can, like... I think we're good.
Died in 2009.
Yeah.
That's 10 years.
That's not 10 years.
That's like it's 10 years, dude.
That's like 20 years, dude.
Your ears today, man.
We were on Skype, okay? There's some latency, alright? Like,
that has nothing to do with your shitty hearing.
No, it does, because sometimes you fade out and I can't hear you, so...
Fucking...
Yada.
Heard that just fine.
Done.
Oh, man. So, let's talk about something that's a really big issue right now in the gaming community.
Samurai Jack.
Maybe, but also, the Gremlin. You know the one I'm talking about.
I'm like really nervous right now. I don't.
Not Diva.
I was gonna say, what the fuck do you have to say about Hannah Song?
No, not Diva. Fucking Pearl from
Splatoon
Splatoon 2.
Oh, okay.
I've been seeing all the memes about that.
I'm still trying to like who?
She's so bad.
Who?
I really
Pearl from Splatoon 2.
I don't. Egg.
Yeah, I don't think she's bad. I think what it is that like we've only seen I had not gotten on the demo yet to see what she acts like yet, so I'm going purely off of what we saw from like the announcement video. And so we have seen a grand total of like maybe of like 2 minutes of her talking and then like 3 minutes of her like performing. And I think her performing is, like, I think it's hilarious. Like, I love the fact that, like, we have, like, this little,
she, like, raps, doesn't she?
She raps! Like, she's rapping. And I think
like, if that's not the most 90s thing I've ever seen, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, like, and I think that's great. And I really don't mind her, like I said, but, like, as far as, like, her personality and what we know of her personality, it's not a whole lot because we haven't seen a whole lot. Like, we know that she's the opposite of Marina. Like, she's obviously very much the vocal, outspoken one, and she kind of has like this what's the word I'm looking for? Tough guy kind of like personality. Like, she's very brash and blunt, and it complements. It complements Marina's very shy and reserved personality very well for a very traditional, almost 90s film aesthetic, like buddy partnership type of thing.
So she's more Eminem than Vanilla Ice.
I hear what you're saying, but also consider she ugly.
How dare you?
I don't really think she's ugly. I think we haven't.
I think you just can't get over her fucking snaggletooth.
Yeah, I think that's really the only thing.
Her snaggletooth is fine. I don't fucking care about her snaggletooth. I hate her like constant glower.
I feel like Allie's about to become like the embodiment of Pearl and absolutely like deck you the second she sees you next because of this.
I don't care. I really don't like Pearl.
Allie's about to come through the screen.
I'm not just pulling a me and like projecting myself on her this time. I just literally think she's cute.
I don't think she looks bad. Like, I I feel that her overall, like, I think that her design, while, like, I like the Snaggletooth and I like the,
So, okay.
And I...
Oh, no, finish your statement, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so, like I said, I like the unique, like, Snaggletooth thing, because, like, there isn't another character that really has that. And I like the design of her outfit. I don't like the color scheme. I think that the color scheme, like, I get why it's there, is because it's supposed to be a heavy contrast to Marina, who is very very dark, like, has very dark colors to her, other than, like, the very minimal use of, like, that neon, like, sea green that she's got going on there. But she's obviously very bright in comparison, and I get that. Well, that's why that's there. But I feel
like they wanted the black and white contrast
with like the neon pastel kind of like.
The main thing I have with Pearl, like, it's not even what she entirely looks like. Like, if you look at concept art of her, like, I can get a bit of concept art and throw it into the chat real quick. Like, her concept art is adorable. I love how she looks in the concept art. But, like, in the 3D model, I don't know. I think because of how they made her mask scowl, like you know, the black around their eyes. I think of how they made that. It looks like she has, I don't know, a really heavy brow line that's just, like, hanging over her eyes constantly. I
feel like it's something to get used to.
Like, it's something to get used to, but I don't want to get used to it, you know? I don't...
And I think the other thing of it, though, is that I think that goes back to the fact, though, that, like, we've only seen a very limited amount of her expressions. Like...
Who's seen, like, any clips of, like, the demo so far?
I've seen them, and I saw the one where she'll freak out if Marina, like, spots you before her. And then she'll be, oh, hi.
Because she had that introduction, or not the introduction thing, but, like, people learned, so essentially right now, because Splatoon 2 is having the whole demo where there's this first Splatfest before the game comes out. And so what they have is the demo for that, and once the Splatfest starts, you're able to play and blah, blah, blah. But for now, you can just go in and see the hub world. However, they do the whole Squid Sister thing the second you get in, where they begin and introduce themselves and talk about what's about to go down with the whole Splatfest and everything like that. And it gives them a lot of character, like, in and of itself. And, like, I regret, because I ended up watching a bit of the video, and, like, I saw the video on YouTube of this guy who, like, went in and did this. And I ended up watching, I only watched the introduction of it because I have been absolutely avoiding anything that isn't, like, official Splatoon 2 shit. Like, anything that hasn't been a trailer, I have not watched. Like, I haven't watched any of the test fire footage, I haven't watched any of the fucking demo shit. Like, the only part of the demo I watched was their introduction where they talk about the Splatfest that's about to go down. And it's all, like, it's essentially a Squid Sister update, like, but, like, from what I saw, like, they're super well animated, they're super adorable, like, and even Pearl, like, she'll jump around in her seat a little bit, like, they both have these, like, really cute quirks that they decided to animate, and it's all really well done. I don't fucking know where I'm, like, trying to go with this. My point is that she's adorable.
So the only thing that I think that she's got going against her right now is I think that her overall physical appearance is very safe. And I don't, like I said, I get that it's partly picked to be a contrasting color choice. I just think that there could have done something maybe a little bit different with it. As far as her little, like, glower goes, I really do think that, like, that is supposed to be something that's, like, for her, it's a facade. It's a thing that she is doing. She's portraying a persona for performing, I think. Like, I don't really think that she is, like, as Jenna put it, is this gremlin all the time.
Well, yeah. I'm not saying that, like, from this few pictures and scenes that I've seen her moving around and doing stuff in, that I know her character, and her character as a thing is bad. Like, I'm sure she'll be adorable, and I'll love her like I love Callie and Marie. But what I'm saying is her character design is such that at the moment I cannot get behind her.
No,
like,
I get that.
It's just so off-putting to me that it's just bad.
I think another reason why we have such a drastic, I guess for lack of a better word, like just standard like facial structure for her is because the fact that since she is an Inkling, they didn't want to have her look too similar to Callie and Marie, because Callie and Marie's like overall like design, other than their hairstyles and their clothing, their actual like physical body structure was pretty much just a standard Inkling, just kind of taller. So like, and you could tell with Pearl that they went for something much more like much different. She's very much a lot shorter. Like there's the whole little snaggletooth thing going on here, and I think that like they wanted to make sure that she kind of always looks sassy. Like she's kind of the counterpart to Callie as being the much more vocal and easily excitable one. But they had to make sure that they did something different with her, so that's the way she's just not Callie 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like I get that's why they wanted to make her so drastically different, because it does a really good job of making sure you don't like equate them, like you can't equate her to one of the characters.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I thought, I'm sorry, it probably sounded like I was going to say more, but no, it's right.
Like I said, I want to believe she'll become a much more interesting character. Like, because I'm kind of on the fence about her right now. I don't think she looks bad. I don't think that she's that her characterization is bad. I just I feel like at least as it is right now that they've played it safe with her. Like they obviously went balls to the wall with Marina, because like we've got a goddamn who is not only in public but is a pop idol next to an Inkling.
I can't believe they fucking stole Reef's concept.
Like she's being like this electro pop like idol duo,
and her voice is awesome.
Yeah, her voice has got like that auto-tune harmonics vibe to it, which I like a lot. Like, and her color scheme is just super unique. Like,
did you guys see the Nintendo the new amiibos they're thinking about for the Inkling Girl and Boy for the next game?
Oh, but they're not thinking about it. Those were a thing. They're coming out alongside the game.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Yeah, I
fucking love green-haired little boy.
Yeah, like I don't know if I'll have it. Like I've already got the game reserved. Like, so like I'll definitely be getting the game when it comes out on the 21st. But I don't know if I'll have enough money to grab any of the amiibo when it comes out, which is gonna kind of suck because it's gonna be forever probably before they're restocked again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because not that I think that we're gonna get like a repeat, because Nintendo as a whole has like been doing much better with like restocking their amiibo in general, not entirely. Like there are like they still haven't done second runs on a lot of the older amiibo and whatnot, but for the newer stuff like that has come out in like probably the past 6 or 7 months, like. I've been seeing their inventory like replenish on a more or less regular basis. Maybe not reoccurring like on every shipment that we get, like because like I work at Target, so like I see their stuff come in a lot, and it may not come in with all of the Nintendo stuff, but like I do see it come in consistently, more or less. Like we got they just recently released like a 2-pack of like Fire Emblem amiibo. And when they first came out, they sold out pretty quickly, like within the first couple of days. And then we were probably out for maybe like 2 weeks. And then, sure enough, after about 2 weeks or so, we got a whole nother shipment of them in, and they were on the shelf. So I have a feeling like they'll be coming out regularly. My concern is that, like, because the fact that it's Splatoon and it's now probably Nintendo's biggest IP in the recent history, that they're just going to be out of all things Splatoon for like probably the rest of the year, I would imagine. Because like I at least want to get one of the Inkling Boy amiibo, just because I love both of them. Like, I mean, the squid one is hit or miss because it looks so similar to the other squid amiibos. It's just bigger, has more ink splashing around, and is a different color. So like that doesn't really do anything for me. But the Inkling Boy and the Inkling Girl ones for Splatoon 2 are both really interesting. And I also want to get the new headset that is coming out with it too, because it has. So for those of you who don't know, the Switch's new what's the word I'm looking for? Communication feature is going to be released alongside Splatoon 2 in the form of a smartphone app, which I'm still trying to understand why it works this way. I don't know, but so in order to communicate with players like via voice chat in game for Switch games, you use this smartphone app. And it also like they also showcased that like it also has like interconnectivity with supported games. Like Splatoon 2 is going to have like kind of a hub section that you can use to like look at your stats for your game and connect with other players and all sorts of other stuff. But it'll also be where you go to talk to people while playing matches, or you can set up like private matches with your friends through this app, and which is all cool and useful. But I'm still trying to understand why there wasn't voice chat integrated into the console itself.
Well, that one's easier than you might think. Since it's a Nintendo console, there's so many young kids on it, they don't want them to get, either in trouble or be put at risk.
Listen, man, when you got Splatoon, any game with a competitive mode in it, the last thing you want is voice chat, because otherwise we get Overwatch.
No, I agree with you on that. Like, I just don't think that like putting it on a smartphone app is necessarily stopping anyone. Because, like, it's not like 10 years ago where not every kid had a smartphone or a phone in general. Like, smartphones are now as commonplace with kids as they are adults.
Oh, no, yeah. It's no doubt. But at that point, it is, absolutely on the adult that the kid hears something or is told something or does something.
I guess it's mildly frustrating because like the reason why I want to get this headset is because it's designed with the app in mind. So what it is it first of all, it's really cool because it's based off a set of headphones that are in Splatoon 2. Like you can get the exact same headphones in Splatoon 2 as this headset. The only difference is the headset has like a microphone attached to it. But what it does is it has, so like you have the headphones with the mic, and then a wire comes down, and then there's this little box that it goes into that then it's basically working like a splitter. So it has one jack that you can plug into your smartphone, so you can hear the audio from your voice chat, and then it has another jack that I would assume plugs into your Switch. So I guess the only way it will feasibly work completely is if you're like playing in handheld mode, which is a little bit unfortunate because nobody knows how long the cord is on this, so it's entirely possible you might be able to play it in dock mode if the cable is long enough. but I want to get that because there's not really, I can't really think of any other way of doing that yourself unless you're going to buy like your own splitter and cables and whatnot, which just seems like a big tangled up mess.
Yeah. But in any case, I'm really hyped. Like, I don't even have a Switch, but I am so hyped for Splatoon.
I think I'm the only one in Lovac right now that has a Switch.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have a Switch in the way that one of the people I know has a Switch, and I can go over to his house and push him off of his couch.
Gotcha. Like I don't have very much for my Switch now anyway.
To be honest, I could say the same.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but that's different. He's at your house.
It's like Connor just opens the door to the next room slightly and stares at me.
So how about that Switch, huh?
So but like, ARMS is pretty fun, huh?
Yeah.
Cool if
actually, that reminds me, Connor. Should I talk about the thing we've got in the works, or?
I mean, fuck, man, it's yours. Like, you can do whatever the fuck you want with it. I don't care.
Okay.
It's yours, bitch.
Well, I guess, are we done talking about this? Like, do we, or...
I mean, we're done with Splatoon, but we could talk about Doomfist, but we can talk about him later.
Yeah, I guess I'll just throw this out here real fast. I'm making a new show for Lovac.
Oh.
And I haven't really told very many people in Lovac. Really, the only people who know are Connor and to a slightly lesser extent Allie, because I think she's only overheard me talking about it, but I haven't talked in depth about it. I am making a Let's Play series for Lovac, but it's a little bit different because it's going to focus it will focus exclusively on fighting games. I am a big fighting game fan, but I am also not a very good fighting game fan. For a lot of games, I suck. And that's not a bad thing, but as someone who would be considered a casual, or to probably the greatest extent, a mid-level ranged fighting game player, I do get discouraged a lot because a lot of the people that I tend to follow, like on YouTube and stuff like that, are people who are advanced players or even pro players. And that's not to say that I don't enjoy watching them, because it is awesome to see somebody who knows how to play the game sit up there and rack up a 40-hit combo and do a hyper finisher and win the match. Like that's not an unfun thing to watch, but it is. I want to see. I don't see a whole lot of people who show how they enjoy fighting games, like from my perspective. Like what do people do who don't go online and play against online opponents and try to be top ranked players do to have fun in fighting games? And so that's basically what I wanted to do is showcase like things like story modes or like extra modes that aren't really played by other people and that are designed for players like me in mind, or even playing games that might be considered non-main fighting games, like sure, like we might play like Street Fighter and Smash Brothers and stuff like that, but there are other games like really the idea that popped this into my head was ARMS. Like I got ARMS for the Switch, and I've actually avoided playing it specifically for this purpose because it's such a unique fighting game and it's not your traditional one, and it's still up in the air of whether or not there's going to be like a pro player scene for it, or if it's going to be like have tournaments and stuff like that. That I want to showcase it as someone who's basically going into it not really being good at fighting games in general and trying to learn how it works, try to be the best player that I can, but also experience the entire game has to offer. Shut up, Connor. But yeah, I just want to showcase. I just want to showcase fighting games for lack of a better word, from a casual player's perspective, and what is there for casual players to enjoy besides just like besides just playing online. And like I said, I might go and try to play online, but it will be going and showing the struggle of getting better, not showcasing like, oh, look how good I am, and necessarily just showing the results of all that hard work. I want to show what it takes to be that, and show that it's all right if you're not a top-ranked player. You can still have fun playing these types of games, because there's often a lot of backlash for people who are considered casual players or mid-range players trying to play a popular fighting game because they think that it, like, kind of similar to like to a lot of the toxicity that happens in first-person shooters, that these games aren't for you. You know, like there's that mentality of you should go play something else because you're not a top-ranked player, or
you're not up to my personal standards, so
exactly.
You shouldn't play this game that you bought with your real-life God dollars.
Exactly. And so, like, I want to show people that that's okay, and just kind of have a positive environment for generally what is considered one of the most toxic gaming communities, short of first-person shooters.
So you're going for like a really specific audience here, which is actually kind of
the average schmo, honestly.
Yeah.
So
it's actually kind of interesting because, yeah, which in that case we get like a lot of competitive people talking trash and all that stuff. I'd say it's kind of a breath of fresh air to go for something more like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which that's not to say that I don't think that that hardcore fighting game people won't enjoy the show, or that it's not designed with them, because like I do intend on talking about, like, I know enough about fighting games to talk about top ranked players and talk about the competitive scene and whatnot. I may not be able to execute those things, but I at least understand how they work, and I want to be able to to show the difference of like, well, this is something that, like, maybe I can't do something, but I can explain it to you or show you what the intent of what certain things are. And I have no problem with a competitive attitude to fighting games. That's part of like the package deal of a fighting game, is that there's competition, but
pure competition is getting like very oversaturated, especially like with media outlets.
Exactly. Like I want to show people that there's more to fighting games than just like watching Evo or watching big tournaments, or watching the top players play the game and do the same.
Or watching the top Korean players get fucking mauled by a Junkrat main.
That was still the most magical moment of my life.
And like
the offensive Junkrat.
Yeah, like, not that there's anything wrong with that, because I do enjoy watching things like that too. But I want to see more. I want to see more content for games like these geared towards people who maybe don't know a lot about that or don't watch that. Like, I want to make something that's relatable to less, like, I don't want to say less skilled players, but just maybe people who don't dedicate themselves to one fighting game or to fighting games in general and play them. Maybe they play them because they like the story, or they like the actual lore of the characters and whatnot, and not necessarily the mechanics. Like, I want to showcase that and show other ways that this genre is enjoyed besides being skilled at the game mechanics.
Like, you have any in mind that you'd like to showcase so far?
I mean, the idea is like I have.
Throw it up on the screen.
It goes a little bit like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Like, it's like ARMS is a good starting point, because like the game is like incredibly charming, like, and like it may not be the greatest fighting game out there in terms of story and whatnot, but like it is very fun to play, and the characters are all different. Like, the whole basic punching mechanic is there, but each character does something unique that the other characters don't. there is customization in your strategy because of the fact that you have different arms to equip. But like as far as like other games beyond that, like I wouldn't like nothing is really off limits. Like we can do mainstream games like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat or Guilty Gear or we can do lesser known things like one of my first fighting game that I ever played ever was Clay Fighters for the Super Nintendo. Like, and I think I still have my cartridge of that. If I can just acquire a Super Nintendo, we can play that. Like, or like even shovelware titles like Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing.
Is one I kind of want to touch on, or the forbidden PlayStation and All Stars Battle Royale. Like,
forbidden.
Why is it forbidden?
Because it's considered to be a terrible, terrible knockoff of Smash Brothers.
Yeah, I played a little bit of it. I could definitely see why.
Mm-hmm. And like, but it's at the same time though, there are people who have played that game, and there are people who enjoy that game, and like, it's one of those things of like, I do want to go in there because like I've never played it, so I do want to kind of go in there and experience it and see what there is to enjoy about it, because like it can't like. Even with the worst of video games, even with games that like we've done it before, there are games that for all other reasons would be considered absolute garbage. But because if you're playing it with friends, or if you're just being stupid with it, you can find enjoyment out of it. And so like that's like what I want to do. Like what I want to do is like find enjoyment out of a game that either everyone considers garbage, or find new ways to enjoy a game that otherwise is only enjoyed because of like the pro players or the competitive scene.
If I could suggest, like since we're like kind of talking about like what kind of different ones we could do, in regards to like you mentioned Guilty Gear, I would strongly suggest Guilty Gear Reloaded, specifically the Korean version, because its soundtrack is definitely something to talk about. It is like one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard. So
see, that's exactly my point. Is like it's stuff just beyond just like, oh well, the game's fun to play. Like music, art style, things
Skullgirls
like that.
with art style for sure.
Yeah. Or just like things like self-imposed little challenges or fan challenges. Like one of the things like I definitely want to do is I want to get on Super Smash Bros. Melee and play Pro Jared's Ganondorf challenge.
Oh, I've actually done that.
Like I've not done it yet. I've seen tons of other people do it, but I have not done it myself. And I want to do that. And I want to have have some friends there and try to do it together. Because I know it's gonna be fun. Like it looks fun, but it's not something that is like, it's not part of the pro scene. It's not something that everybody knows. Like it's something that one person made up and put out there, and it's ridiculously fun. But it's completely self-imposed on yourself. Like even if it's something silly as like trying to play arcade on the hardest difficulty while answering trivia questions or something like that. Like just something to make the game, like just to do something different and silly and completely off the wall from what everyone else does. That's like kind of my goal with it, is to find new ways to enjoy a genre that is really kind of considered to be one-dimensional in its entertainment value.
If I could suggest something, I don't know if maybe you could consider it like a bit of a halftime show kind of thing, but considering how much like new expansive content we've been like looking at, especially in like regards to like, you know, Project M and Wii U, you could also kind of look at a, you know, certain mod of the week kind of thing too.
And I mean, like I haven't fully fleshed it out yet. Like Connor and I are Connor's actually going to be teaching me kind of how to operate Premiere, so that I can actually help with the production aspect of this thing. So like we're still making the assets and whatnot, getting everything figured out. But like depending on how well it goes and depending on what I end up getting access to, and I am readily available to do, like I said, nothing is really off limits. And if we want to add bits in there like that, that's a possibility. But it'll really kind of just be something where I want to get it started and get off the ground and see how it goes, and then kind of branch off from there.
Mm-hmm. All right, that seems like a pretty it's a pretty interesting idea. Just gotta see how it fleshes out. Ironically, I've been actually thinking to do a series of my own here and maybe contribute it to Lovac, and it's still kind of on the working edges, but I'll see where things go from there.
Mm-hmm.
And on that topic, I want to do speed painting.
That could be fun.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know, I want to draw stuff that people on the channel want to see, So it's like I'd have to figure out a way to set up a poll. Whenever we post a comic dub, put a poll in the description and be like, what do you want to see on a drawing show? And it can be like, do you want to hear music over it? Do you want me to talk about stuff over it, different topics, or do you want me to do tutorials? So that's that's what I'm thinking on.
If nonetheless, I think I made a list for another art friend of mine. They were trying to do a daily art challenge thing, and it kind of fell through because they ended up having to focus more on work. But I have a list of stuff that I came up with that were just really quick drawing prompts. So I could totally probably unearth that and just have you pick a number and that's your thing to go with.
That's my life now.
Yeah. Do it.
That sounds good. Let's work that out later.
I'll see if I can hunt it down right now while we're talking about the other big topic we wanted to talk about that's relevant right now.
Terry Crews.
You mean not Terry Crews?
I mean,
Please.
Honestly, I'm a little
agree
disappointed, but I'm not fully upset. I could see how the guy fits the character a little bit better, but I just feel all the passion and energy Crews and the fan base it's a bit of a letdown. But honestly, anything that involves new Overwatch characters and lore is welcome for me. So I'm not fully upset, honestly. Still, he should have been a tank.
I have to agree with Jacksepticeye. I wouldn't want fucking Old Spice guy, because then it'd just be whatever.
I know people are.
I feel like everyone would ignore his characterization as one of the main villains if he was voiced by Terry Crews too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a celebrity icon rather than an actor, right?
Well, here's the thing I have. Up until they kind of revealed to us who Doomfist actually was, we didn't really have anything to go off of other than we knew that he was a big guy with a big fist and could do a lot of damage. And we
didn't even know if he was a good or bad guy at the time.
Yeah, we didn't know if this one was going to be one of the previous Doomfist, if what their alignment was going to be, who they actually were as a person. We didn't know any of that. We just knew that he was a guy, and the last one, and we knew that there were multiple people who had this gauntlet, and the last one was obviously a bad guy. But we didn't know if when we saw that the gauntlet was missing, we didn't know if it was taken by the previous one, if it was a new guy or anything. And honestly, I was totally cool with Terry voicing it because we've seen that Terry can at the very least act. It may be it still might be character acting because the fact that it's characters that fit his body type and his normal persona.
Yeah, it's his energy that really goes over. It's he has so much fun. It's just you can't help but smile. But I understand there's certain characters that you feel he can't really do. But
yeah, really, what it came to me, what was kind of the point for me that I realized that it probably wasn't going to be a thing was that when it was kind of starting to hint that Doomfist was going to be from actually going to be native to Africa and be from West Africa or somewhere in that area, that it was less and less likely of a concept that Terry was going to be the person voicing that, just because Blizzard has a repeated history of that when they have characters that are from a certain place or that have a certain way of speaking, that they go for authenticity over everything else.
Yeah.
That be
Yeah, that's why they changed
even though Zarya still doesn't, always sound great.
Well, like I said, I say that they go for it. They're not always going to be able to have a native actor for every single character or something like that. They are limited to what they can. But I know them well enough to know that if they have access to someone and who is not,
you know them well enough. Oh yeah, let me just call out my uncle who works at Blizzard.
My uncle Bill Izzard.
Your uncle
Bill Izzard.
But
Justin, do you want to start that sentence over again?
My uncle. He's my uncle. That's my nickname for my uncle Bill Izzard.
Bill Izzard.
He is married to my aunt Bethany Esda.
Oh no, that's just stealing a joke.
Yeah, way to go.
You stole my joke.
The McElroy boys worked hard for that money, and you're stealing it.
Oh well.
No empathy.
But that being said, though, I think that the guy that I don't know his name off the top of my head. I remember seeing it, but I've forgotten it off the top of my head. But the guy that they hired is amazing. He did
great.
Accent obviously is perfect because he is a West African actor. But his voice is like butter. It's smooth, but also it's incredibly intimidating when he says certain things.
What I like about the voice, and after
Martin,
we go through this,
sorry,
we gotta take
good gun, good shit.
We gotta take a break after this, but one thing that I really like about his character is that it actually changes the character that I thought it was going to be. Because when you have everyone headcanoning Doomfist as Terry Crews, you're expecting the loud, the proud, the fucking gonna scream while taking you down Terry Crews. When in reality, now Doomfist is like this quiet and sophisticated. Shut up! I know it's ad break time. Shut up! But in the Doomfist is this quiet, analytical powerhouse. You can tell that he is sophisticated. Everything he does has motivation to it. He has a reason for everything he believes in. He's very sophisticated. Let's also
appreciate the fact that Doomfist's main character arc is basically the same one as Flowey the Flower.
What?
The strong devour the weak. It's kill or be killed.
You mean his mentality?
No, that's his character arc. His whole character arc is, this is what I believe in.
I don't think we're going to have a redemption arc where he realizes the error of his ways and turns into a cute goat boy. I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, I mean, he does die in the end. So what might happen?
He's always been dead.
I was actually hoping to put some inputs on this.
Yeah, go for it, man.
I mean, I feel like there could be a couple points regarding the whole voice actor thing. And like I mentioned before, the guy is pretty phenomenal with what he does. And I'm not upset at all. I mean, as much as I kind of wanted to hear Terry Crews, understanding, the character, where he was coming from, it wouldn't fit. Some other reasons I kind of thought was Terry Crews is kind of a big figure. And like you guys mentioned, he would kind of be represented more in celebrity status rather than acting as the character, because a lot of the characters, let's face it, they have a huge versatility of voice actors. There's only a handful I recognize well, like Crispin Freeman for Winston or Fred Tatasciore for 76. And a lot of the other people...
No, Matt Mercer too. He's pretty big.
Matt Mercer, oh yeah, and fun little fact, McCree's voice actors in Japanese and English are Jotaro's from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, respectively.
It's okay. Junkrat's voice actor is the same voice actor for Gladiolus from Final Fantasy 15.
The
The best part about that is that Reinhardt's voice actor voices the big villain of Final Fantasy 15. So it's
the cool thing with Reinhardt is he actually voiced Judge Dredd at some point. But and I fucking love Dredd, so that's kind of how I recognized him first. But going back to the thing, I think the other reason that could have been like a thing why Terry Crews might have not fully been able to do it is, aside from his busy ass schedule, I think he was like recently the poster boy for the upcoming Crackdown.
No, he's voiced. Well, he made an announcement saying that on his, I think it was on his Instagram or something like that, saying that he had a big announcement at E3, and obviously with all the hype around him wanting to be voiced as Doomfist, be the voice of Doomfist, and even him going so far as to do fan-created lines at like an Overwatch tournament. A lot of people thought that, like, and he had also recently gone to Blizzard HQ and
with his son, because his son loved it, yeah.
Yeah, so like he went over there, and so like a lot of people thought that he was also like doing like talks about maybe voicing the character or whatnot. But like his big announcement for E3 ended up being that he was voicing a main character in the new Crackdown game. So like it was a big bit of mass confusion. Because, like, he obviously, when he said that he had plans for E3, he couldn't announce what those plans were because it was a big game reveal for E3. So, like, he couldn't do that. So, like, it was kind of just a combination of him not being able to tell us and the hype just getting out of control.
And Overwatch is pretty big about hype, so Terry just had to roll with it, really.
Yeah, and they were kind of the same way, because, like, they couldn't say anything either, because if they were, like... because they have their own secrecy about their game development plans and stuff like that. So like it was just a big it was really like the end result was just because the fans hyped it up to be that. That being said, I wouldn't rule out the possibility of Terry ever voicing the character, mainly because of the fact that I would almost guarantee at some point that we will get skins of the other two versions of Doomfist, and I would say that it's entirely plausible that they might bring him on to voice one of those.
Yeah, and that's the other point I was going to get back to. The Overwatch meta is really strong, and Blizzard always has like at least subtle or even bittersweet ways of like getting back to the fans with like certain things that they add to it, and I definitely feel that is 100% possible they could bring back Terry some way into this, because not the character specifically, but it could be like something else, but like just know that they're aware that this was a big deal for them.
I almost guarantee you, I would be shocked that when Doomfist comes out, if one of his voice lines doesn't reference like some of Terry's work in some way.
Old Spice. Please let it be Old Spice.
He just like comes out of Spawn. Power.
Yeah, even if it's something, it's just a simple power. Even if it's just something simple as a voice line that just goes, "What?"
Oh my god.
Like, even if it's something as simple as that, like people will get the reference, it will be there, and it will be a nod to the hype that there was. But like at the same time, though, is that we still have two canonical other versions of Doomfist. One of them that I believe is American,
There's
or at
more
least
than one Doomfist. It's like a name, kind of.
Well, yeah, it's a moniker. It's a moniker, like
how there's different Captain Americas or Spideys.
Like there's more than one Dread Pirate Roberts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Like it's a title that is passed down to the person who has the gauntlet. So like there are two other versions. I mean, technically one is canonically dead now. Like the previous one, who was the second Doomfist, is dead because the current one killed him. But
that sucks.
But so like that is. Like so, I mean, like you could still make a skin for that. Like, I mean,
Sorry to interrupt. Have we gone to the commercial break yet?
No, we have 30 seconds. Finish up this conversation.
Okay, go. I have more to say, but go.
So, basically, it's totally possible for Terry Crews to voice a secondary skin of Doomfist as another one of these versions. That's basically all I'm saying. Don't hold your breath, but it's possible.
Rebuttal. You have 20 seconds.
Okay, I don't have a rebuttal. My comment is more on the thing we were talking about of nods to Terry Crews. So we can talk about this later. It's like it's another topic in itself.
10 seconds.
I have a lot to say too. So next topic after.
Yeah,
we're on break.
Got a break.
Hang on, no, we still.
We'll be right back
seconds.
after these messages.
At all?
1 second.
Wait.
Also, you posted a comic a while ago in your Discord that I really wanted to do, except we don't have an Arisa voice.
Which comic?
It's the one that's
the fuck
when
you.
she meets Doomfist. Yeah, she's just like, I had specific interactions programmed into me just for this event. Fuck you. I'm like, I want to do that so badly.
Well, let's go out and find an Arisa then. We still technically need a Sombra, right?
Also true.
I can't
guess.
It's just like...
Wait.
That's gonna be tricky though, because like for both like Arisa and Doomfist, like to cast that is gonna be very tricky because they have such a because they both have that West African accent. It's such a unique accent that because even I I've tried trying to do one before. Like I've been just like quoting Doomfist lines that I heard, just trying to see what I could do with it. Not that I have any intention of voicing him because I don't have the vocal tone for him. But just messing with it. I like trying to mess with accents and seeing how I can pull it off. It's hard.
Mess with the accent.
Well, you're talking to a guy who spends some of his time watching really weird-ass African Ugandan films, so I could maybe try something.
Well, it's just one of those things that, if you go too far, trying to adjust it one way or the other, you start sounding like a completely different accent because
it's very precise.
It's very precise,
dude. That's accents in general for me. I'm not gonna lie.
I can only do tracer. I still haven't fucking recorded those tracer lines because it's a bitch to get into her voice.
But it's
goddamn.
But it's just one of those. Go ahead, Connor.
Back when we did Team Fortress 2 shit. Fuck, are we back yet? I think just fucking bring us back sometime. I don't fucking know. Point is, back when we started, we did a bunch of Team Fortress 2 shit and doing the scout voice. No, accents are hard for me, and a lot of people know that. In this group, and I've mentioned it once or twice, maybe every other video I ever have to do an accent about. Whatever. Point is, I suck at accents, and it's for that exact reason, to where I just can't maintain an accent without it kind of drifting into another accent. So it always, yeah.
Mm-hmm,
I know what you mean.
At least for me, just messing with it. The thing of it is for me is that particular accent has such a how they pronounce words is when you look at something that is I guess for lack of a better word, a common used accent like the English accent or the Australian accent or even something from the US like Boston or Jersey or something like that. All of the all the way that vowels and consonants are pronounced are more or less consistent. But with that particular one, because the fact that if I'm not forgive me if I'm wrong, and I apologize if I'm wrong because I may be completely off. If I'm not mistaken, the English that was taught, or that was taught in Africa, came from the French.
Yeah, I believe it was.
So you're not you're dealing with basically second-hand taught English. You're dealing with people with a French accent teaching people who are speaking their own native languages in English. So they have their own accent from their own native languages layered on top of English that has been taught by someone with a French accent.
So, yo, dog, I heard you like accents.
Basically, like, so it's this it's basically the audio version of multiculturalism. Like, you're hearing, like, 3 or 4 different cultures layered into one accent. And so, like, they pronounce, like, vowels and consonants are pronounced differently depending on how they sound. Like, sometimes, like, long vowels are much longer or held out a lot longer or have more of a nasal sound to them, and whereas like short vowel sounds or consonant sounds have almost like a almost have like an extra sound added to them. Like you can kind of like you can hear it like with like when he says like combo breaker is like he doesn't say combo, he says combo. Like it's a very it's a long O, and then like when he says breaker, it just has this extra little sound into it that like it's breaker. Like it's not there's like almost like it's like there's a Y in there, and that's not a bad thing. And I don't think and I don't have a problem with that because it's incredibly accurate. Because I like from like listening to some comparisons that I did because I'm a nerd and I like comparing the accents to voices before I realized that the guy was actually from West Africa, so it was kind of a moot point. But it's a very interesting accent, and like I was just incredibly intrigued by it, and I'm so glad it's there because like Martin was saying is that it adds to the diversity of the cast and their way of speaking. There's nobody who sounds the same as anyone else. Like, I mean, I guess you could argue that between him and Orisa because they both originate from the same area, but even so, like that's still two different voice actors, 2 different genders, technically speaking, and just every single person in this cast, you don't even have to look at them. You can hear them talking, and you will immediately recognize who they are. And Doomfist is no different.
Question: are we still on break, or should we be saving this?
We're back.
Oh, okay.
We faded in some time ago.
Yeah.
Oh, I apologize. I didn't
know. Connor has this mentality like we actually have to wait the duration of the break instead of just cutting. But
yeah, that's what I was thinking, and I was just kind of like, oh boy, I hope I'm not.
I mean, I tend to give us a bit of time in case like someone needs to go to the bathroom or something. It's a fucking break.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess
I mean, he never tells us when he come back. So like, I mean, if you're in the bathroom taking a dump, you're stuck.
Yeah. No. So anyway, where were we?
Anyway,
That's right.
what I was,
welcome back from the break.
Yeah. However long we've been back. What I wanted to ask, because on that topic we were talking about how there would probably be voice lines or something or another that would be a nod towards the Terry Crews hype for being Doomfist.
Mm-hmm.
The question that comes up in my head is how does the actual voice actor feel about that? That he has to, or would have to, like, make and record these little nods to someone else who people were much more hyped to get the job than he did, and also are still kind of salty towards him that he, quote-unquote, took the job from Terry Crews.
Well, I mean, here's the other question is, what if this guy knows about this and he's like, so he's in the booth and they're like, okay, so what we want you to do is we want you to say what, but like Terry Crews as if he's doing an Old Spice commercial because of the whole shit that went down with that, for like paraphrasing.
But I mean, like I have no doubt he knows about the Terry Crews hype and he knows about it.
Here's the thing.
But like
there's
the thing
two
is,
ways,
would it be insulting?
There's 2 ways to take it.
So here's another person that's more famous than you. Do this thing that's a nod towards him in the role that you got, because people wanted him to have the role more than you did.
Well, there's two ways to take that. There is the insulting way of, God, okay, well, that's kind of shitty because I worked hard and got this role. But there's also the, okay, here's the subtle nod and wink to the fandom who is really wanting this thing, and so this is the least I can do. Because I did get the role. I did succeed in doing this. And now a lot of people are disappointed because they really wanted this thing. At the very least I can do is say, hey, I understand that this is something that you wanted. Here is something else to suffice for that.
I think I can answer that question.
Okay.
One of the things, like, I do watch, like, some of the behind the scenes with, you know, some of the Overwatch casting, and I realize, a lot of the actors they pick is not just, like, you know, how good, like, they are, like, how well known they are, but it seems to be, like, especially when they're, like, off, off work and, like, talking to each other, or even just, like, doing, like, voice lines to one another, they seem to, like, have a really good chemistry. So I think the big part of, like, who they look for Overwatch is, ironically, team players, like people who actually would be like open,
like on the job application is must be good friend.
Yeah.
Well, basically.
And I think it's just like I understand it could be like in a form in like insulting in a way. Like I could definitely see that like firsthand, but I feel they would have like chosen someone like wise enough that is not able to do the job well, but consistently be in like good terms, because let's think about it. Overwatch is still updating like every moment possible. So in the long run, they have to think about the long term rather than just the short terms, because they got to update lines. They have to have cinematics done. They have to have all these sort of things. So they have to have.
Whoever's coming in is in for the long haul.
Sorry.
So whoever they hire in is in it for the long haul, and that could also be another thing that goes against Terry. Like goes against Terry for being the actor, because he is so busy with his, for lack of a better explanation, his celebrity status in and of itself. He probably just does not have time to dedicate to come back to the booth every few months and record more stuff.
Yeah, that's another thing that probably went into choosing the character.
Yeah, I was going to mention that in addition to like the Crackdown thing as well, because what I'm maybe thinking is maybe it was also a decision that now this is just speculation, that Terry Crews is kind of hugely representing Crackdown 3. And he would also need to give his, if he was Doomfist, he'd also have to give his services to like Overwatch, and it would kind of confuse people a little bit as to like the kind of roles he would like have to take, because like he's like this huge icon, and I guess maybe like he wants to like, you know, give like a fair shot for like anyone and just like not hog all the spotlight, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily because
like maybe hog the spotlight isn't the right term I'm using, but
Terry Crews is here. Get out of the fucking way, Matt Mercer. You're not big shit.
I mean,
yeah, I think he just wants to commit to like something and go all out rather than just like expanding like.
Well, at least if he's doing a game like Crackdown, I get that it is an action game, but like
it's his kind of style.
But it is also for like, even though it is Crackdown, so it's arguable. It does have a story to it. It does have a campaign. So like he's basically doing the equivalent of enough voice acting to warrant for like a film. Which is not to say that Overwatch actors don't do the same amount of work or whatnot, but that does mean that he, for the foreseeable future, is committing his time to working on that. And not to say that there aren't other voice actors who don't commit their time to do big projects like that in conjunction with one another, but like I think that was more of an issue of it. It's just the time constraint. I'm sure that Blizzard probably looked into the possibility of having him, but I think it was a matter of. I honestly think Terry probably once they told him what they had in mind for the character, that Terry probably said that it was just not going to be a role he could do.
I could agree with that.
I don't particularly. I think that he probably would have loved to voice the character, but after actually getting a snapshot of who the character was and whatnot, it's just not. It's not a role for him. It's not a role that I think he would be comfortable doing. Not that I don't think he can play like the badass brooding character. It's obvious that he can. It's just who the character is, where he's from, what like.
There's a lot of elements to put in.
Yeah, there's a lot of elements that I just think that he probably just personally doesn't line up with, not for lack of trying, but just a lack of that's not the character type that like we said before that he's comfortable with.
And it would be kind of like it would be like really different from his other roles, but even then it's still kind of a risk if you think about it. Like it's like not a role like many people would be familiar with, so it's maybe not just like the fan base, but how much of his energy could actually apply to such a character that we're seeing as like more so cold and calculating with like a human philosophy based around conflict becoming, you know, what improves us. You need someone a little bit more sophisticated, I guess.
And that's what I'm saying is I think the whole reason why everybody, like the reason why the whole thing of Terry voicing him took off is because of the fact that we knew so little about him at the time.
There was all this talk. It was all hype.
Yeah, it's like it was all hype and all speculation. Which is all
we saw maybe concept art of him and other shit, and it's like, oh, cool.
Yeah, like it was, but yeah, everything that we knew about Doomfist was stuff that we made up. Like as fans, we made it up, and because nobody from the Overwatch team really told us otherwise, we took it as fact for the time being. And so I think that's honestly where like a lot of the dissatisfaction comes from, is that it's not living up to our own personally created hype.
If we have nothing there to represent for us, we got to make it ourselves. And a lot of the times, unfortunately, as long as it takes, even with the truth, it becomes a little hard to like, you know, take the truth when we spend this much time having a certain image for a character we've been debating and discussing over and over again.
Yeah,
what does that sound?
I was gonna say there's like a machine in the background that makes it sound like you're about to take over the Skype call.
I apologize. It's my furnace over there. It just randomly does that.
It's devouring what you're saying.
I can hear him just fine, but
yeah. I don't know. I seem to have this sort of thing happen. But anyways, what was it? I was gonna say something else.
That reminds me.
Sorry, I was gonna mention in addition to that, answering your question, like that last little bit. Even then, Blizzard has ways to surprise us. I mean, hell, they surprised us with this, like most of us, I guess. But I feel like it might not even be a voice line for all we know. It could be like, as one of us already said it, like a different skin based off of like, you know, a preceding like Doomfist or something. And honestly, I just feel like time will tell. And I think the actors, they signed up for what they wanted, and let's take it from here. Even like, you know, they're like even the unknown actors that kind of came in to voice the characters, they have to understand the huge hype and fan community and the kind of culture that's thriving in like the Overwatch fan base. So I think especially with how they see like, you know, any BlizzCon or like online posts or Tumblrs and all such, they have to understand the kind of impact and what kind of people their community can be. So they just have to like take it, you know, face first and understand that, you know, fans have like a certain wants. So I don't think he'd be too upset if he understood like what kind of role he was taking himself for.
So it could he be insulted by it? I think obviously it's possible, but like I said, Blizzard knows. Yeah, Blizzard knows how their community works, and I think that they certainly take that into consideration with the people they hire, and they explain that, and it's very obvious that everybody who is involved, who has been involved with the game so far, even voice actor, like the voice actors for characters like Ana and Orisa, who we have only seen just a very little bit outside of their own voice work in the game. Like they're practically like completely unknown as far as like who they are as people. Like as far as I've been able to research, like their only major acting work like in AAA projects like this is Overwatch. Like Overwatch. So like they don't like so like they're practically unknown, but like it's obvious that they're having fun with it. Like they're able to their acting reflects that because they're able to get these little in jokes and stuff like that, or match up with the acting of the other characters, like when they're doing banter and stuff like that, with the same level of enthusiasm as the main cast, who know each other and have been working with each other much longer because the fact that they did the bulk of the game already. Like it's obvious that they were very much selected with not only their ability to perform, but their willingness to participate in the, for lack of a word, the social aspect of what these roles require. And
at this point, it's more than just a game. At that point, let's say that.
Yeah, it's like, and honestly, if the actor for Doomfist was going to be as much as a stickler about doing references to Terry Crews, like as he could potentially be, I don't think he would be the kind of actor who would be making fighting game references while playing the character and stuff like that. If he were that...
He made a Scooby-Doo reference.
Like, he made a Scooby-Doo reference. Yeah, he talked about, like, how he would
I would have gotten the gauntlet if it weren't for those
meddling kids. Like, if he were that serious of a person, I don't think Blizzard would have hired him for the role. Like, Blizzard, in all of their games, there is always this little sense of making jokes and quirks. Even for games that have super serious lore, like World of Warcraft and StarCraft,
there's something really tongue-in-cheek.
There's always some tongue-in-cheek references and stuff like that are in there. I mean, for Christ's sake, World of Warcraft has a statue to fucking Leroy Jenkins, probably one of the oldest internet jokes in existence.
They have a character in Warcraft, I think, based off of Robin Williams. No,
they do. They have a lot of references to pop culture and characters like that. I don't know if the character was still in there, but there was actually a whole parody quest parodying The Legend of Zelda at one point, where you helped. I think he was a dwarf named Lincoln, like spelled Likin, like
Linkin Park.
Like I don't know if he was still in there, but I do remember like seeing a video about it at one point, and like it was a legit quest, and it made all sorts of little in jokes to The Legend of Zelda in a very tongue-in-cheek, low-key sort of way. But it was obvious what you were doing if you were familiar with that series of games.
Also, you gotta also think of, like, even outside the game, they had huge impact. The Warcraft episode of South Park, they had a huge hand in.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, they allowed the South Park team to completely use all of their assets for a single episode, or a series of episodes, but a single story arc. I think anybody who is working for Blizzard in any capacity, whether it be as a programmer, an artist, a voice actor, what have you, knows exactly what they're getting into when they come in there, and if they were opposed to it in any way of the sort, they probably wouldn't get the job in the first place.
Yeah.
How do you think they'd test that out, though? Like, you have a trial period of just having to hang out with people?
No, it's an entire questionnaire, and if they get one wrong, they tell them to get the fuck out. Friendship!
But no, I'm sure there's I
feel like a lot of it, well, I mean, they interview
What's your Myers-Briggs?
Yeah.
Like, dude, there's a lot that can be said during an interview. Like, you cannot tell me that the voice actress for Sombra went in there, did her interview, and, they had her go through this entire other thing to, realize her person. Sombra, the voice actress for Sombra is, such a cheery and, I can hardly sing her praises. Allie!
Bitch, what?
Talk about the voice actors for Sombra for, 10 seconds.
She's hot. She's hot. She's hot. She's hot. She's hot.
So cool. So cool.
So cool.
I'm kind of on the fucking spot here.
I meant her personality, but fine. What?
Oh.
She like makes YouTube videos.
She knows that Sombra is a very important character to not just the game story arc, but also the Latino community. So she tries to like basically make it so that she takes Sombra with her a little bit and becomes like the nicest and most outgoing person.
Oh yeah, I've seen quite a few of her camera moments with like, Lucio's voice actor and stuff like that. But those are adorable.
She constantly like vlogs with like all the other VAs. She just has a wonderful time, and it's like if you see her on camera and you're like, okay, she did not do a straight up interview with the people from Overwatch. Like, she went in there, she had fun, she talked with, and the people who were interviewing her had to have like genuinely liked her. Mm-hmm. Like, and I feel like that plays and I feel like it's super redundant to be like, oh, that plays a massive role, but it does. Like,
yeah, they were willing participants.
That goes to every job, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're a good person, unless your manager's an asshole or just doesn't care, they usually like show.
Right. Like, it
just started raining, guys.
I feel like with a lot of characters, like, when they went in and got the interview and, like, talked with the people behind Overwatch, they went to Jeff Kaplan himself, because he clearly runs every aspect of Overwatch. Like, they had to essentially,
Jeff Kaplan comes to you with a sword in one hand and a contract in the other.
Fucking Christ. But yeah, like, they obviously had to, like, these people had to have been good-hearted. Like, the people behind Blizzard in general are really good about, like, finding good people to, like, voice and stuff like that. And, like, because they're representing the game that they're making. So they're obviously going to, like, find good people that they get along with. And, like, I don't expect an interview with Blizzard to go like any other, like, job interview. If someone were to say, hey, you're going to be interviewed by Blizzard to voice act this character, I'd be like, oh man, I have no idea what the fuck's going to happen the second I walk through those doors. Like, the environment has got to be, like, crazy different.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, what do you expect? Do you go in there, like, for a normal interview, like voice acting style, or do you just go in there like, what up, sluts?
Yeah, like...
Or what's the happy medium?
Is it going to be like us when we interview people? Like...
Yeah, is it going to be... Well, I mean, the way we interview people is still pretty... I mean, it's not the most professional, but it's not like, what up, sluts? It's like, okay... Take your time. Yeah, we can make a few jokes, but seriously, let's get to the interview.
Well, yeah, like, and that's the aspect of it, is that, like, you for jobs like this where it's for acting and even other creative, like more creative and artistic focused jobs, is that, like, your professionalism, while important, bless you. Sorry. Your professionalism, while important and needed, is not the only thing that, like, that determines, like, your likelihood of getting hired. Like, you can have a list of credentials like 3 miles long, and have been in multiple productions, have experience in a variety of different. Well, whatever. But if you do not connect with the people who are running the project on a level that is beyond professional, like, if you, like, it doesn't even necessarily have to be a friendship or anything like that, but if you do not connect with them on that same kind of artistic level, which is something that is sometimes almost can be unspoken, you're like, they won't hire you. Like, it's just the matter of it is that, like
how well you work with them. Kind of like how the Mythbusters guys aren't really even, like, friends in real life, but they work so well together in the show that it's
because they have a similar goal in mind. Yeah. And that's a very good case in point. But, like, it's just like same thing has happened to me tons of times. Just auditioning for stuff. There are times where I will go and like that I'll be given a description of what they're looking for and what they want, and like there'll be times where like I'll get that audition and feel like I really nailed it and did something that was really interesting and really cool and whatnot, but not what they want. Like a good case in point that I got really frustrated with was last year. I auditioned for Connor did this too. He did it with he auditioned with me. We auditioned for basically a theatrical rehashing and editing and fully voiced over version of Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
And where where it wasn't just like where there were just the little voice quips that happened with the text and whatnot. Like the characters and all of their dialogue were fully voiced. Even I think the only exception to that rule was like Link, and where like they had more like vocal characterizations for him to respond to dialogue and whatnot, but he didn't actually like speak full sentences or anything like that. They just added more sound effects using a sound-alike. But like we auditioned for a lot of characters, and
it was us and Kaito.
And Kaito was a bit of an exception because Kaito had done previous productions for the same group. She did characters in their version of Skyward Sword and Wind Waker. So she had a pre-existing standing with them, and she did end up getting casted as well. And that kind of leads into what happened with the project, is that a lot of the people who were cast were people from the previous projects and whatnot, which there's nothing wrong with. That you have an established history with them. You know that you get results from them, and they're results that meet or exceed your expectations, and you know that you work well. So like that was the thing, but like it was still equally frustrating.
But it's like, yeah, why even do that then? Like if I get that they don't know who the next characters are gonna be and shit like that, so it's like, yeah, do that. But like if you're just gonna like and I say rehire, I don't know if they got paid or not. I don't fucking know.
It was not. It was a fan
I don't think
production.
It was a paid gig. But yeah, like if they're just gonna rehire the same people for like different roles and shit like that, like fuck it.
Well, I mean,
why even do this? Why even have the characters open in the first place?
But see, that's our perspective of it, though. Like that's our perspective of it as an auditioning actor, and like I agree, it was equally frustrating. But like after sitting at it and whatnot, and trying to view it as from the perspective of the producer, it's a smart decision. It's a smart decision because the fact that I can see it from both ways, is that like you can look at it and say like, well, it was really safe and could be viewed as lazy because of the fact that like they didn't go to look for like new talent that maybe would sound different or might fit better. But they also, and some people argued saying that they didn't really listen to because the system that they were using allowed for you to kind of like upvote, because all the auditions were public. So you could kind of upvote auditions that you thought were nice, and a lot of the times they didn't seem. It was argued they didn't seem to like pay attention to what potential viewers of the actual finished project wanted to hear. But again, that it still boils down to this is what the producer is looking for. If you don't meet what they're looking for, you're not getting picked, and that's fine. And there's nothing wrong with that, but like it's the same kind of case in point here, is that they had something in mind for Doomfist, and they went and Terry obviously was not it, and so they found someone who not only meets the criteria of what they're looking for, but is also going to be someone who they are going to be able to cooperate with, and they're going to be able to coexist with. Because like I've even gotten to that point where like I've gotten into where I had like my audition has been responded to before, and then like I'll start talking with the people and try to figure out what they're wanting to do and whatnot. Like a good case in point of this was that like there was a Five Nights at Freddy's project that I got invited to audition for.
Was that the same one that I got invited to audition for?
Yes, I believe so. I think Nate was also.
Yeah, Nate's the one who told me to audition for it.
Mm-hmm. And so got involved and was accepted and everything like that, and then got in there, and I'm not going to name names or anything like that, but the overall structure of the project was a mess.
Yeah.
There was no, like, there wasn't really any one person in charge. There wasn't any rhyme or reason as to how they were, like, trying to plan things. They, like, this is what we want to do. Like, I think I got a small collection of lines to record for, and then recorded them, then asked where I should send them, and never got a response from anyone who I considered to be in charge.
I asked, and they just said send it to Nate, and I'm like, okay. So I sent it to Nate, and he's like, why are you sending these to me? And I'm like, I don't know.
And see, that was the thing, is there was conflicting instructions from people, and not like, and so like that's an example of like I ultimately just let like the project started falling apart, and people were getting angry at each other and whatnot. So like I ultimately had to remove myself. Like I pulled myself out of
that. That project as a whole is another example of why you need to have, like, what we were talking about with Overwatch, like, why you need to have people that work
synergy.
well together. Because aside from the horrible organization of it, two of the people, one being the main artist and the other being one of the main organizers, really didn't jive at all. Like, they apparently went in with good history, but somewhere in the middle they just did not.
They literally, like,
there was actual big Tumblr drama about this shit. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
they both got angry at each other, and not only did they break off from each other as far as the project was concerned. I believe the artist basically stated that if any of their work was used in there, they were threatening legal action. Like,
yeah, but I mean, for one thing, the artist, you know, the artist pulled out, and like I understand them, but also a lot of the issue was the artists themselves. Like, I'm not gonna get too far into it, but it's like a lot of people were in the wrong. But Jesus,
like the main thing to take away from that though is that like
that you don't work with people you don't trust, you know,
mm-hmm. Or that like there are just going to be times that like where even if somebody tells you that you're good enough and we want you here, that sometimes either after they like. Not to say that like if you're accepted into something and they talk to you and then they all of a sudden think that you're not a good fit or something, that there's something wrong with you, or that that they lied to you or something like that. It's just there is such a thing as going your separate ways because of creative differences, and those creative differences can be a perspective on what you consider good work ethic, or what you consider to be what's the word I'm looking for? Acceptable like parameters for like getting things like completing your project or whatever. Like if there's any discrepancy between you two, whether you're the one saying there's a discrepancy or they are, neither situation is wrong. The only time that it becomes a problem is if it develops into an argument, because it doesn't help either of you. If you're really at that point where you can't cooperate with one another because of your creative differences, then somebody has to make that call to step away, because it's just not gonna work. And does that suck as a performer? And when I have to do this, is that a sucky thing to do? Of course it is. I don't want to like pull out of somebody's project that I showed interest in because of something like that. But at the same time, sometimes I have to do it for my own sanity. Like
yeah, and that's like the worst.
And there will always be other projects, and especially in the area of fan projects and comic dubs and stuff like that, they will always be happening. Always. Mm-hmm. Like,
you just have to, like, I've actually been talking to a lot of younger people who are about the same age I was when I first started doing voice acting stuff. Mm-hmm. And I talked to them about being a voice actor, and right now even doing it professionally for, things outside of Lovac. Mm-hmm. And they always ask, the same questions that I would ask of like, well, how do I get started? What do I do? What do I need? It's like, just start small. Look up a project you might be interested in. I'm pretty much sure you're guaranteed to find one that you want to do. Mm-hmm. Audition for it. If you don't get it, just keep auditioning.
Mm-hmm. And for please, for the love of God, for anyone who is interested in there, do not take constructive criticism as an insult.
Yeah, I had to learn that with art when I was a real youngster, because I did not take it well, and now I like to think I'm pretty okay with it, and I've been told by professors that I'm really good at taking constructive criticism. And now whenever, sorry for interrupting.
No, go ahead.
Whenever I end up like seeing people at school or online who just can't take criticism, and good criticism, not like, oh, this sucks, or, bad criticism that's like, well, I mean, it's good, but this, and this is wrong. It's like, oh, backhanded, great. But I mean, as long as it's good criticism, at this point in my life, it's hard for me to understand how you can't just be like, oh, I'll work on that.
And that's kind of what I was just getting ready to, is that you not only have to be able to take criticism, but you do have to learn how to filter good constructive criticism and bad deconstructive criticism.
Yeah.
Anyone can go and tell anyone about anything that they work on. Doesn't matter if it's art, if it's acting, if it's a regular 9-to-5 job. It doesn't matter what it is. Anybody can come up to you and tell you you're shit at it. They don't have to give you a reason. And if they do, they can literally give you any reason, and pretty much at all. And because of the fact that it's deconstructive, it will stick, even though if it's not true. And that kind of criticism doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help you improve. Constructive criticism is something where they say, they're going to point out what you did well, and they're going to point out what they think can be better. And constructive criticism has the difference in that where someone will offer you a suggestion of how to improve. It may not necessarily be the correct suggestion to actually help you improve, but the intent is to help you improve in a way that is positive. Not saying something like, oh, well, your voice wavered there, so maybe you should just not voice this character. It's not about that. Sometimes there is a limit to your to stuff like that, but saying things like, well, your voice wavered there, maybe you need to focus on trying to strengthen your voice to speak in that range or something like that. There are ways to explain how something is an issue and how to make it better that aren't blunt and aren't uninformative.
Yeah.
And that's where you have to learn.
That's also something you have to look out for in yourself and in others of there's a limit to I'm just telling the truth, Mm-hmm. You can't say, something really fucking mean and be like, but I'm just telling the truth. No, that doesn't work. That doesn't help anyone.
This is why I can't jump in on this, because honestly, art school destroyed me to the point where I can't even tell anymore. Or like I would have my teachers like tell me that I'm the worst at art and I'll never become an artist, and then be like, but this is just criticism.
That's not criticism.
Your teachers sound like shit, honestly.
They're community college art teachers. What do you think?
Well, I mean,
they're looking.
I confess that I went to acting college at one point, and less and it's better.
Yes, it's probably the same way because they're looking at it from the from art theory, or like they're looking at it from the, for lack of a better word, the scientific aspect of it. They're looking at things like, are you mimicking traditional patterns? Are you or in the thing of like theater, are you using are you following traditional thespian code and things like that? They're
mostly every time I ever made anything ever, they would ask, okay, but how are you going to sell this? And I'm like, sell?
It's not about, that's the thing about it. They're looking at it from the marketable aspects of it. Yeah, it's not, that's the difference from being, to me, from being a performer or being an artist and someone who is paid to teach about it, because it's very hard to make a curriculum about something that is a creative topic, because the fact that there is no confines to put that in. That's the whole reason why we have period movements in traditional art, is because the fact that what was considered popular at the time fluctuates as based on what prominent artists want to do, and it changes based on things like culture, what's going on at that period of time, what the artists are trying to convey with it. There are so many different factors that there's no way to confine them into this box and say, this is how you draw, or this is how you paint, or this is how you're supposed to act when on stage. You can emulate. You can teach people how to copy those things, or how to create something in that style, but you can't say that this is the only way how to do this, or this is the correct way to do things. There is no such thing, because it's all up to interpretation. What somebody might consider to be high-class art, others might think is complete and utter garbage, or vomit on a piece of canvas.
Yeah.
And I get, I totally understand where you're coming from, Allie, because I took art classes in high school. I tried everything because I wanted to try to be an artist, or at least be able to get better at it, because I doodled all the time. And I took a traditional pencil drawing class, and I took a ceramics class, and they were both full year-long classes. They weren't just a half semester or anything like that. They were both full year classes, and constantly during them, don't get me wrong, I loved the teacher who was in there, but it was because the fact that he was able to distinguish to me later on, to the classes that he himself personally had no problem with what I was trying to do, but the problem of it is that that's not how the classes are taught, and that's the difficulty of it. Is that because during the classes he would be he literally told me at one point in time we took our reference material were models for magazine ads, it was for portraits, so it was just for magazine ads that he pulled up that were just portrait pictures of people's faces, and we were trying to do sketches of them. And he literally told me during the class that I turned a beautiful woman into an ugly man.
Wow, what a dick.
And he was an older guy, and I don't think he realized what he said. And I'm a you know me, I take stuff on the chin a lot. I wasn't insulted, but it was particularly depreciating to me as someone who was a budding artist trying to figure stuff out, because I was being told I was doing it the wrong way. And up until that point, I didn't know that there was a right and a wrong way. I just knew that there were ways to improve. And that's the I think that is what a lot of art schools and art classes get wrong, is that they focus on trying to teach people the, quote, right way to do things, when the best way to teach is to say, here's what you're doing. What do you want to do as an artist? Let's get that established first, and then show you how you can improve to take your art in that direction. But the problem with that, though, is that you have to have someone who is just an expert in all forms of art teaching that class, or you have to have multiple teachers who can show you what you want to do, which would cost a hell of a lot of money.
Basically, school sucks, guys. Like,
yeah, like I got extremely lucky with the school that I go to, because the arts department that I'm in for acting is really supportive of each other. So it surprises me that that's not the norm, but I have like.
Well, don't you go to like a university?
Yeah, I go to an actual university, community college.
Teachers who actually like their lives.
Yeah. My teachers have tenure. They want to be there.
Like, yeah. They want to be there. They get paid enough. Like, it's.
Yeah, and that sounds like the main thing is that it's community college professors who are taking out aggressions on their students and making them feel bad.
I do feel like that. I'm trying not to interrupt, but at the same time,
interrupt. Do it.
I try really hard not to interrupt people.
Well, you have the spotlight. Go.
You have the floor. Go, Allie.
Okay. Okay. Well, it's because my illustration teacher, she worked for George Lucas and did all of the lore book art and everything, and did the concept art for the first 3 movies. And she did a bunch of fairy books and shit like that. And she was content, and you could tell because she was so nice to people and about their art. And she would, when she's using constructive criticism, she would say what she liked about it first, and then would start nitpicking.
Exactly.
But then my 2D design guy, who's like maybe 30, and whose art is like, you know, in like comedy shows where they'll show like the art scene being a bunch of pretentious fucks doing art nobody understands.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically him. He is that caricature come to life, and I feel like because his art is too in the norm, and he never got a name for himself or did anything, he's kind of taking it out on people.
Mm-hmm.
People that don't become successful
well, you know that the age-old proverb, those who can't do, teach.
Yeah.
And those who can't teach.
Those who can't
community college.
Teach.
Oh, okay. I was going to fucking school.
I know you're going to school of rock. I almost did that joke too.
But yeah, I feel like there's a huge difference, especially with professors in like community colleges and in like straight up universities, because I know my mom.
I feel like a main difference is that like you have the community college, and then you have like the teachers at mine, which are all like actually critically acclaimed actors and directors who are teaching the acting and directing class. Here's
the thing, though, because if anything else, like, I don't know much about community colleges. I didn't go to a community college. I went to universities and shit like that.
State University.
As far as oh my god, I had a bit of my point is, as far as I can tell, like a lot of the university teachers like care. Like I hate to just straight up say that, but like when you go to a community college, that's kind of like what you expect. And like I don't want to rag on community colleges or anything, but when I have my mother actually is a professor, and she works at the college nearby my hometown, the university nearby my hometown, I should say. And the reason she works there is because she loves what she teaches, and she teaches like communications and shit like that. So she does radio, podcasts. It's interesting saying this and then realizing what my life has become, but I digress. Point is, she likes teaching like radio and broadcasting and all that shit. So that's her passion, and so she teaches because that's what she loves to do. And I feel like that's kind of the standard for a lot of university teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, I feel like with community college, those are people who know what they're doing, but they don't have the passion for it. They're just working for the paycheck.
I honestly think that sometimes, I think a lot of people who teach at community colleges do have that, have that desire. I think it's a matter of, maybe they couldn't, maybe it wasn't their first choice, and so this is the area that they were able to get hired at. But also, I think it gets incredibly frustrating when you have a passion to teach something to people, and then you get hired on in a place that doesn't have the budget to be able to teach it maybe necessarily the same way that you were. Especially if you go from someone, if you're someone who was taught at a university and did get that super passionate teaching about it and whatnot, and then you want to go and reciprocate that and pass that same passion down, but then you're all of a sudden working at a community college and have a quarter of the budget that the university that you were taught at has, and have half the resources. And
I don't mean to interrupt, but here's the other thing with that, is that a lot of teachers have teaching methods that just don't work for some of the students.
Yeah, you're right.
With Allie's scenario, that's, in my opinion, just horrible teaching. You can't just straight up say, okay, well, it's shit, because that's
no, teaching
not how
has to be adaptive.
And I feel like that comes more from people in community college or teachers in community college who don't have as much inspiration towards what they're doing, or they have lost the motivation towards what they're doing. Mm-hmm. They no longer want to spread it, they just want to do it, I guess. Because I know, and I've got teacher blood in me, where I do a lot of video editing and shit like that, and if anyone ever asked me about that kind of stuff, I'd be like, well, sit down, Sonny. Let me show you how the fuck this works. And just... You
get it from your mom.
Yeah. It's awful. I love it. And that's why Calvin was a fucking incredible roommate, but I digress. Because Calvin was one of those people that, no matter what you talk to him about, he would enjoy it wholeheartedly and ask, legit questions and shit.
I miss Calvin. I want to go out into the woods with him again.
Same.
Calvin's great.
And I think we might leave off the podcast with that. Calvin is great.
Calvin, we love you.
We love you,
Calvin is great.
This is an anime
college is a step in the right direction, but...
Everybody say goodbye real quick. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching the Lovac Podcast. We realized we didn't say it when we tuned
Just
out.
like that?
So there you go. Goodbye.
Bye.